Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of the Other Side of Addiction podcast. I'm your host, Al Richards. We want to say thank you to our platinum sponsor, which is Matter Behavioral Health in Mount Pleasant. Guys, if you're looking for something different as far as a recovery center, I would definitely check out Matter Behavioral. Those guys are awesome. And again, Matter, thank you so much for your sponsorship. Greatly appreciate it. Today we're going to change things up a little bit. You guys recognize this beautiful young lady sitting next to me, Janessa. Thank you again for being here.
Yeah, anytime.
It's always a pleasure having you here.
I love it.
It really is. And my wife's been in here in the studio a couple times when you've been here, and she's watched some of the shows that you've been on, and she goes, I just love Janessa. I think she is such a great fit for the show. And I'm really saying that because that's exactly what she said. So yeah, thank you so much. So our guest that we had scheduled today had to actually woke up to two of her kids sick. So instead of canceling the show, they say the show must go on. We decided that we would just do another episode of like conversation with Al. We had TJ and Janan here once, and we did that. So what do you think, Janessa? You think we can wing this and do pretty good?
Yes.
Yeah, I think so too. There's some stuff that's happened this week with my wife, and it's something that has really got my blood boiling, and it's really starting to tick me off because this is the second time that this has happened. And you and I spoke just a little bit about it at the beginning of the show. When we go downtown, and I'm sure this happens no matter what state you live in or what city you live in, driving down the road, you see the homeless people. You see people who you can tell that they're high. You can tell that they're drunk. I'm just as guilty as being one of those people going, man, why don't they get their act together? I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Give back to society a little bit. Get off the streets. Try to get your shit together. My wife hit 15 months sober on March 9th. 15 months she's been working her butt off to get her life back on track.
That's so awesome.
This is what ticks me off. At the beginning of this week, she lost her job. Only been there a couple weeks. She got called in and was told that, hey, we have to let you go because your background came back, your check, and there was a drunken disorderly on there from 2021, and our company doesn't allow that. And it didn't matter how much she pleaded and begged, going, look, this actually happened in 2020, but it went on my record in 2021. I'm not that same person. Didn't matter. They let her go. This is the second job that she was only there like a couple weeks. The background check came back, and they let her go because of stuff that's on there. So this is really a pet peeve of mine that it's really starting to get to me because society wants these people to get off the streets and start contributing and start doing something with their lives. So they start doing something with their lives, and then they're not able to do anything with their lives because of what's happened in their past.
Well, then the companies make it impossible for them to even, like in your wife's situation, I mean, there's ways for them to prove, you have been sober for this many months. Let's talk to your doctors, your therapists, or whatever, or let's give you a chance. I don't know. Yeah. Like, there's ways to work around it. And what I hate is it's like there's just the system, and they just push them through, and it's like, oh, we don't put up with that, we don't put up with that, we don't put that, we don't even look at the individual, you're just a number. And I hate that.
Yeah.
When, I don't know, it changes lives when you can give people a second chance. So.
Well, and again, society doesn't seem to want to give second chances. So I had a hard time sleeping Monday night, and all this stuff kept running through my head. And I was thinking, I don't really want to blame the guy that let her go. He's just following
orders,
corporate rules, which I have a whole nother issue with corporates.
So he doesn't lose his job.
So he doesn't lose his job. But so bad, I wanted to call him up and go, oh, so what? You don't have any skeletons in your closet?
Seriously.
What if all that went on record? You know?
Yeah.
Were you caught cheating on your wife? Was you caught doing this? Maybe you had a prostitute one time that you got busted with. What if all that crap went on your record and then you went to go get a job, even though it happened 10 years ago?
Yeah.
And now you can't get a job because of something that you did that was stupid in your past. So it's like they continuously get punished for something that they did in their past. And I like what you said, that why can't they have that opportunity? Because that's not who they are at this time.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if they start showing it and they're doing it, or she shows up to work drunk or whatever, yeah, by all means, man.
Yeah.
But give somebody that opportunity.
Yeah. Exactly. And I think, I don't know, here, my husband works, he worked retail for, 11 years and 12 years, and he was a manager in the businesses that he was at, and he would do a lot of the hiring process, and he says it's hard because some companies get so, I don't know, not personal, like they don't look at the individuals. They just treat it as numbers, or sometimes they just let the system go completely. And so people that are abusing the system get away with a lot of crap.
Yeah.
Or there's those who have been working their butt off, make one mistake, and then they're screwed. They're fired. And so it seems so inconsistent and unfair both ways, but I don't know, he had a lot of times where he's like, I just, the three strikes, you have 3 strikes on, obviously a behavior, don't come in drunk or high and stuff like that, and or being late, he's like, you have 3 strikes, which I think is totally fair.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just frustrating that, I don't know, that she has 15 months to show, like, look how much I've changed, and they're not even taking a second look at it. They're not even doing any investigation. They're not saying, yeah, prove it. Let's help you out here. We want you here.
Yeah.
Especially with how much, the shortage is on employees right now.
Yeah,
You're like,
no
how
kidding,
can you
right?
be so picky? I don't know.
No, I
It's
agree.
so frustrating.
Here it's been, a little over a month now, I think, that all her cases have been dropped. All her fines have been paid.
Yeah.
The courts, thank goodness, recognized her hard work.
Yeah.
She's off of probation.
That's
She
so awesome.
has a certificate. They actually gave her a certificate that said that you finished your probation, you're doing great, which, it's just a piece of paper, but for someone who's gone through the system, that's a pretty big deal.
Oh, huge.
And why isn't that the case, like you said?
Yeah.
Well, let's check on this. Let's just see,
Mm-hmm.
Can we call your probation officer? They can't share the case or stuff like that, but they could say, oh yeah, she's done, man. She's done a phenomenal job.
Yeah.
But instead, they just automatically go, no,
Yeah.
you're gone.
We don't want to deal with it. Too much work on our end.
Yeah.
So dumb.
And she said she begged for a job. She said, I started crying. I was just begging, going, I need this job. I need this job. And they're like, sorry.
That's so sad. That's so heartbreaking.
Yeah. Well, and that's one of the reasons why I don't, when I lost my job of 24 years working for a corporation, even though it was my mistake, but to be at a company for 24 years and always have great evaluations,
Yeah.
done so much for the company, and just go, you know what, we'll just make an example out of you. See ya. And they kick you out the door.
Oh my gosh.
That's when I realized corporate America doesn't give a shit about their employees. All they care about is that money that's coming in.
Mm-hmm.
And this may piss some people off, and it's okay. I don't give a crap, to be honest with you, because
It's definitely a problem.
This is how I'm seeing it, because I'm living it.
Yeah.
I'm seeing it.
Yeah. I think it's happening, like, it's everywhere, but in so many different situations, like, I don't know, looking into companies and stuff, and they make it seem like, oh, we'll hire anybody, we approve or, accept all these different things, and when you get down to it, a lot of them don't. They
Yeah.
just say that to save face, I guess. That's so frustrating.
It's kind of like they're making promises, trying to win the election.
Yeah, exactly.
And then don't follow through with it.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
How many times have we seen that?
I don't know what you're talking about. I never said that.
Yeah. It's like, we never hide that commercial.
Yeah.
We never said that.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I just think it's crazy, and things have been changing in the world, and I think some of the change that's been happening is definitely something that's needed to happen a long, long time ago, especially when it comes to like minorities and things like that. I mean, we are all equal. There ain't anybody above anyone. That's how I see it, whether those out there believe in it or not. But to me, what happened to her is discrimination, because they're discriminating against her for something in her past. And I don't know, man, there's been a lot of stuff going on in my head. I'm like, I wonder if I should contact an attorney and just to write a letter, because I think it's what word do they use, false termination, or there's another word for it, I'm not thinking of it, but
yeah. But it's like what you said, everybody has a skeleton in their closet. I mean, if they're looking for perfect, like, completely clean record on anybody, I mean, they're not going to have any employees. I mean, who doesn't have something that they made a mistake or made a bad choice, or even several? But, people change. I mean, there's proof of that everywhere. But I don't know. People that get so picky about it, they're not going to have anyone to work for them.
Yeah, and that's what it seems like it's getting to be. And I could see if this thing that was on her record, this drunk and disorderly, was from a couple months ago. I could see him throwing up that flag going, whoa, okay, wait a minute. Even though it happened in 2020, but it didn't get put on a record till 2021.
Which isn't her fault.
It's not her fault, but when, I don't know what date it shows on there of 2021. It could have been January, February. It could have been July, for all I know. But again, they didn't even give her the opportunity to even prove anything.
It was in 2020, and it...
Yeah.
Let me show you. Let me prove it. So frustrating.
Yeah.
My gosh.
So that's one of my pet peeves. It's something that when I knew that our guest couldn't be on today, I'm thinking, I know exactly
this is
what I want to talk about. Now, I mean, we could beat a dead horse with a stick, and drag this on. But I mean, I think what was said was already said. But it's just really, really frustrating.
Yeah, it's unfair.
There's a gal who I wasn't really introduced to her, but Jackie from Matter Behavioral. The last time she was in the studio, she goes, "Hey, have you heard of this gal?" And I want to pull her up. Let's see. Her name is Amy Griffith Deschel. I think that's how you say it. It's Daeschel. Is that Deschel?
It sounds like
it. Sounds like Deschel. So I watched a video that she did, and she was up, I believe, at the state capitol, and she was talking to, I don't know if you want to call them the Senate or whoever they are, the counselors and all that stuff, but she was talking about her past with drugs and alcohol, living on the streets and different things. And something that really, really got me is when she said, "But that's not who I am today." And then she'd say something again. She said, "But that's not who I am today." And she was talking about her struggles to be able to get a job because of her past. And that's something she's fighting for right now, which I think is really cool. And I want to be a part of this. Now, we were actually shooting messages back and forth yesterday because I want to get her on the show. And I just wanted to talk about all her trials and what's been happening. And I know quite a few people who have gotten into recovery and have been doing really well. They go work for recovery centers. They're just paying it forward, saying thank you, and they want to help others get off the streets and get off the drugs and the alcohol, which I think is really, really cool. There are some who couldn't get a job because of their background. and they've started their own business, and they're doing really well.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Well, and it's interesting. This just came to my head. I'm trying to remember when it was. I think it was when my husband was working retail, but he said that there's these people that would come in and do these multiple offenses against the store, shoplifting, whatever. But he's like, it's sad. We've seen these guys, 6 times, and they owe us all this. They're serving the time for it and everything. But you get talking to them, and they're like, yeah, I'm like, I'm going to change. I'm going to be different. They come out, they try to get a job, they can't, they get discouraged and depressed, and then they revert back to, well, I can't find a way to make a living. I can't find a way to, I can't find a house or even food. I'm going to go back to what I can do.
What I know,
exactly. Mm-hmm. And I feel bad because I'm like, I'm sure a lot of them are really, really great people. They don't have the tools.
Yeah.
And I think that's exactly what I think is so corrupt in the society or in the justice system is they don't teach. They just throw them in like a slap on the wrist and be like, behave or, don't do that again. But they don't give them the tools to be like, hey, here's how you can work up to getting a job. Or, hey, let's get you an education, or let's work on getting your what is it? Your
like a master's or a bachelor's.
Yeah,
or
something like that, and
mm-hmm.
getting it your life cleaned up so you can have that. But I don't feel like they, it's like you said, they're only doing it for the money and just the numbers and stuff like that. They're just doing what they're told.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's sad because I think you could that there could be so much more good that happens, and I'm sure there's people that do that.
Oh, there is.
There's people that do really care and make a difference and stuff. I'm not saying there's not, but I feel like more times than not, they just put them in, they come out, do the exact same thing because they have no hope, they have no tools.
Yeah.
And what a difference would it be if there were tools taught?
Exactly.
A system put in
seriously.
place to help them get on their feet. At least give them the choice.
Well, and everybody was born with talent.
Mm-hmm.
God gave every single one of us a talent. There's so many lost trades out there that are disappearing because it's not taught. But yeah, open up a program where somebody wants to be a carpenter. Well, let's make an apprentice, to help them get to that point.
Yeah.
Or an electrician, or do body work, or do home improvements, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
There's a gentleman that we've had here on our show, Shane Buckley, who he does home improvements, and he hires people, that have battled with addiction.
That's so cool.
You've got Mike Lindell, the My Pillow guy, for those of you that don't know who Mike Lindell is. Almost every single one of his employees in his factory have either been ex-cons, drug addicts, or alcoholics.
That's so cool.
And the reason why he does that is because he went through that.
Mm-hmm.
And he was just lucky enough to start something
that worked.
And he's done extremely well.
Yeah.
But he's like, how can I help other people that have a hard time, that maybe don't have the capability of coming up with inventing a pillow or slippers or whatever it may be.
Yeah.
So there are a few out there, but I agree with you that they're far and few in between.
Not enough.
Yeah.
For sure. It's really sad.
It is, isn't it?
Discouraging, yeah.
Because you hit it. You hit the nail on the head. We kick them right back out on the streets.
Yeah, it's a vicious cycle.
Mm-hmm. Yep. We want them to get off that hamster wheel, and then they get off, and then we want to boot them right back on the hamster wheel again.
Yeah. But that's too hard. I don't want to take this time. Get it back.
Yeah, get back on there. I mean, is it easier just to bitch about them than it is to help them? Is it that our society is that lazy, or become that lazy, or to where they just don't give a crap about others? And I am a true believer that everything is equal. There's just as much light as there is dark, and there's just as much good as there is bad. But man, something's got to change.
Well, and I think even a couple interviews ago, when we were interviewing from the Diamond Tree, Was it
Jordan.
Jordan, yeah. And he was talking about how addicts, when he has them in this program, he's like, they need to have a purpose and hope and a system and need to be treated with love, but boundaries, you know. I that's been going through my head this whole time is when people give them that second chance, it gives them that purpose to actually do something to get out of that vicious cycle, to stop using drugs or, you know, or alcohol or anything like that, but that they need that purpose, they need that why, they need that drive so that they can. Otherwise, I mean, you're just, living with yourself, you know. Some people can't even stand that. I mean, they have to be high or drunk all the time to do that, and to get away, to run away. And I don't know. I just keep thinking of, you know, people just need that purpose and that drive.
They do. And
I think that's what society could offer, for sure. A lot more opportunities that way.
Yeah.
For sure.
The purpose, the drive, and the love. I mean, we all need love, and some of us need just a little bit more than others. Mm-hmm. You know, some of us can get away with just having a couple hugs a day and still feel wanted and loved. But I think where a lot of this stuff too happens is the self-love inside. You know, us as humans, we're really good at loving others, caring about others. But when it comes to ourselves, a lot of times we don't like ourselves.
Yeah.
And those that battle addiction, from what I have been learning since starting this podcast and listening to the stories of a lot of our guests, that a lot of that self-love for them, it didn't exist.
Mm-mm.
And that was one of the reasons why they went to that addiction, to numb whatever feelings was on inside. And we've had quite a few guests that come on the show, and they go, until they realize that you got to heal from the inside out, not from the outside in, that's when they start changing and seeing.
Well, it reminds me of Anna when she was talking about how she's like, I seriously believed that the only thing I was good for was sex.
Yeah.
And how degrading is that?
No kidding, right?
But I'm sure, you know, like, how many people actually feel like that to one extent or another? I'm only good for this. I'm only good for that. Or I'm good for nothing, you know? And that self-love and self-compassion is so vital. I know in my recovery with my husband that was one of the first things they talked about. They're like, hey, we got to teach you self-care and self-love and compassion. And I'm like, oh, can we get on to the other stuff? Like, what are you talking about? I didn't even know what that, like, you're like, oh, sure, I'm okay with myself. Like, I don't want to be, like, cocky or, you know, or
egotistical.
Ego, like, tons of ego. But that is probably one of the hardest but most rewarding things in my recovery, is learning to be self-compassionate, to be self-loving, and to give self-care. And it's not... I always thought, oh, okay, I can do self-care. I can binge watch Netflix, or I can eat a quart of ice cream. That I can do, you know. But it's like, no, that's way more. It's way more than that. It's, you know, taking care of yourself. Like, there was times I was like, I wouldn't shower for a week because I was so depressed, and I'm like, why go to the work, you know, or eat. When I get really anxious, I don't eat. I feel like throwing up, you know. Or all those things. And it's like, no, the self-care is showing you that you are worth it. You're worth the work. Brush your teeth, you know, shower, you know, eat 3 meals a day, healthy, not just crap food, even though you don't feel like you deserve it at the time. But there was that, and then also the negative narrative in your head, or the critic that just eats away at you, you know. And one of the biggest things for me was silencing that, or proving it wrong. You know, there was an exercise we did in our therapy that when we would have those negative thoughts, or when we'd be triggered, or a flashback, we would take this paper and write down what were the thoughts, what triggered us. Well, how can I challenge that? you know, like say I got triggered. I saw, you know, my husband struggled with the sex addiction. So when I would see somebody that was very beautiful, that triggered me.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, oh, I can never measure up. And it would trigger me, and I would go into the spiral, you know. But then I would take this paper and write, okay, this triggered me. What was my thought process? What did I think? And then I would write on there, well, I don't think I'm pretty enough. I don't think I'm good enough for my husband or anyone. And then you challenge it, okay? Well, you're not. You are beautiful. You are enough. You have these qualities. And I would write them down. And sometimes you're in such a fog, you can't even think about what you're even good at or your qualities.
Wow.
So there was things I would have to write down and review them when I was in that state. I would do it when I was in a good place, so I could think about my qualities. But then I would review them and then write them down. And I can't tell you how many trees I killed doing that with all the papers. I wrote those down, so many. I had this huge binder full of them. But it honestly retrained my brain. You know, I still have those triggers.
Yeah.
And I think I always will. But I automatically go to my affirmations, my challenges. I can challenge those triggers and those negative thoughts with something that I know is true about myself. And that has been one of the hardest things, but the most rewarding, because when I can do that for myself, when I have an outer critic of people, I see someone and think, oh my gosh, kind of like we were talking about earlier. You're like, get a grip.
Get a grip, yeah.
Immediately, you know, I feel like I'm practicing the same thing with people that I did for myself.
Yeah.
Is, well, let's take a little understanding. You know, I bet they do feel this way because of, you know, this happened. And you kind of write that sheet out for them a little bit. And think the positive, or give them the benefit of the doubt, you know. And it's helped me by learning to love myself and show myself that. I've been able to do it a lot better for other people, because before I thought crap about myself, I thought crap about everyone.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, yeah, because when you feel crap about yourself, you got to judge other people to help yourself feel better.
Yeah, well, then it just makes you feel worse, and you just
just spiral down.
But it really, you know, the scripture, love thy neighbor as thyself.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's science
Says
behind
it right
that.
There. Yeah.
You have to learn to love yourself, and truly love and appreciate yourself in order to truly love and appreciate others and have forgiveness and forgive yourself so you can forgive others. It's a lot easier said than done, but
that's I think that would be a good topic for the second half of the show, because when I got to a certain point with my wife's addiction, I don't know what it was, that the light bulb finally went off when I realized there's no way I can help her, because I'm not even helping myself. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, have I really truly forgave her?
Mm-hmm.
And before we go to a commercial break, I like what you said when you were talking about Anna, you know, just being told that she was good for nothing but sex. Even when she said that, and you just mentioned it, here's something that I'm going to be vulnerable to tell about. So Janessa has a son, and he was just a young boy when we met. Didn't really have a full-time father figure in his life, so I was stepping in, and I was treating him the way that my dad taught me. I was really rough on him, you know, very disciplined, and I used to tell him all the time that he was lazy. Ask him to do something, he wouldn't do it. And it would get me really frustrated. Now, if I did that with my dad, man, I got my butt kicked big time. With me telling him umpteen hundreds of times how lazy he was, I remember going downstairs once, and he's in the living room, and he's watching TV, and he's laying on a couch, and I'm like, why didn't you do this, what I asked you to do? I asked you to do this hours ago, and you're still sitting here. And I think he was maybe 13 or 14 at the time. He goes, it's because I'm lazy. Mm-hmm. And I mean, I got goosebumps right now.
Yeah.
It hit me so hard going, oh my gosh. I literally programmed that in that kid's head. So he's like, he was just being honest with me. It's because I'm lazy. And that really, really woke me up. And it's still taken me wanting to plan a time where I can sit down with him and for me to make my amends to him, you know, by going, man, I apologize for ever saying that. You know, I thought I was doing my best. I've never raised a boy before. All I've had is girls. Yeah. You know, I was being a lot tougher on him than I would a young girl. But yeah, man, that hit hard. That hit really hard. So
he like eventually accepted
He
that.
accepted it.
Yeah.
He accepted it. Yeah. Well, great conversation for the first half of the show. Guys, stay with us and we'll be right back.
Have you ever been in a car accident? Do you know what to do after being in a car accident? Are the insurance companies going to take care of you? Hi, I'm attorney Rick Heaton with the Law Office of Bobby Udall. I will help you through the process and answer all of these questions. I give every single client my cell phone so they can talk to me whenever they need. Let me deal with the insurance company so you can focus on getting better from your injuries. Call me at 385-330-0226. Again, my cell phone number, 385-330-0226. Don't call the insurance company first. Call attorney Rick Heaton at 385-330-0226.
This is Gregory, owner of Lift Up Concrete, proudly serving the Wasatch Front for the last 12 years, lifting sunken flatwork for both residential and commercial applications. Only fully trained professionals lifting concrete at your residence with the same quality of material and method used at every commercial job we ever do. Don't replace it, lift it. liftupconcrete.net, 801-792-4535. Contact us at liftupconcrete.net, or if you're looking for a complimentary quote, 801-792-4535. Again, 801-792-4535. Again, this is Gregory, Lift Up Concrete Lifting.
Hello, my friends. This is Brad Neufeld, and I want to thank you for tuning in to the Resilience Talk Network. You can listen to my show, Resilience, every morning, Monday through Friday at 8 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. On my show, we will be discussing what it takes for you to overcome the day-to-day challenges that all of us face in life, as well as some of the devastating ones that may lead us to feelings of hopelessness and despair. It's my goal to provide you with the tools and skills that you need to overcome anything that is thrown your way. To find out more about my show, visit our website at www.resiliencetalk.com. That's www.resiliencetalk.com. And as always, until we meet again, go for everything that you want in life and make it happen.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the second half of the Other Side of Addiction podcast. Basically, like conversation with Al. That's pretty much how we kind of put it today. But hey, we also want to say again, thank you to our platinum sponsor. This episode is brought to you by Matter Behavioral out of Mount Pleasant, 265 State Street. You can reach them at 435-462-2781. So if you have a loved one, or you have a friend that's looking for a recovery center, I would definitely highly recommend Matter Behavioral. Those guys are awesome. They're part of the Other Side of Addiction family now. I mean, we've just brought them in with open arms, as we do with everybody. But Oh my gosh, Janessa, I thought we had a pretty good conversation the first half of the show. I just had to get some stuff off my chest, and it really did help. The gym's been helping too, let my frustrations out, but just to be able to say it, yeah.
I'm sure you're not the only one.
Yeah. I like what you were saying too, around the end of the first part of the show, about the self-forgiveness and loving yourself, because my belief is that we cannot help other people if we're not able to help ourselves first. I like what you brought up about the list when things trigger you, because there are things that still trigger me with my wife, with her addiction. I've learned how to bring that up to her in more, if there is such thing, a more positive way, where I'm not like pointing the finger at her, where she's feeling like, whoa, wait a minute,
her automatically,
or accusing her. But understanding your thoughts. I read a book called The Conscious Creator, and in that book it talks about recognizing your thoughts and how you can create whatever life you choose to create. I'm believing that a lot more because I've been working on it and I've been seeing how things are changing. But you said that you really had a hard time. It was a struggle for a while, but you got to the point where you started recognizing those thoughts. I believe that's part of self-care as well, because our brain goes through thousands and thousands of thoughts. It's drawn in information from everywhere. When you start really paying attention to what you're thinking, when I did, I was shocked of how much bullshit I was really thinking about that really doesn't help my life in any way or form, but it's just how we're wired that way.
Yeah.
And society has helped wire us that way. But when you start paying attention to it, like what you did by writing things down, especially with the triggers, where you actually get to see it on a piece of paper, that's huge. I never did that, and I wish I would have.
Yeah, it was a huge step for me in that self-care, because I really, like, before they're like, oh, be conscious of it, be aware, like being aware is the first step, and that really helped. But actually seeing it and writing it kind of got everything in me involved, and seeing it and saying it out loud. They would have you say the affirmations out loud, hearing myself say it. They would have us do it in the mirror, which was one of the most uncomfortable things for me.
That one's a tough one.
I could not do that.
Yeah.
They're like, talk about how beautiful you are, and I'm like, I can't do that. And there was, like, for a long time I couldn't, and they're like, hey, is it gonna be this week, Janessa? And I'm like, I don't know if I can do it. But eventually I started doing it. But it did help, even though it was really uncomfortable. But it's like, you have to get every part of you involved, the emotional, physical, spiritual, everything involved. And after a while, when you practice it, you really do believe it,
Yeah. Well, why wouldn't you, though, right?
Yeah.
Because you believe the negative stuff. Why can't you believe the positive, right?
Yeah. Well, and the negative still finds its way in.
Oh, it is.
All the time.
Yeah, it's like water. It follows the easiest path. In some way, there's an easier path in there that, it just seems to happen.
And when there's something like a trigger or something stressful, something I've been practicing, because I get a lot of anxiety when I'm pregnant. And I get a lot of anxiety even when I'm not, but it's like heightened a lot when I'm pregnant. And so when something happens, I'm a doer. I have to, when I'm triggered or anxious, I like immediately start cleaning or working on something, and I just go, and anything else I'm just like,
sounds familiar.
Block it out of my head.
I'm the exact same way.
And my husband always comes and he's like, oh, you're cleaning excessively, what's going on? And I'm like, I have so much anxiety. And so something I've been working on, I'm actually reading a book right now on how to help manage that better, because I'm like, I'm not, after I've been in 6 years of therapy, I still need so much help on that end. Like, I feel like I have to go back and like relearn it at different stages that I'm at. But they're like, when you get triggered, well, I'll just tell you an example I had the other night. So, something my husband said really, really triggered me. And it was nothing that he said was inappropriate or rude or degrading in any way. It just triggered me, something from my past. And I was getting so upset about it and a lot of anxiety, and I like start shaking, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so pissed at you. And I started like snapping at him and getting sarcastic, and I started getting really frustrated, and he's like, what the heck just happened? Like, why are you treating me like this? And he's like, okay, well, I'm gonna go in the bedroom. And he just goes in there like, leave me alone, you know. And he started getting snappy and defensive too.
Yeah.
And I remember I said something, I can't even remember what it was or even what I was triggered about, but the feelings were so intense. And he said something, he yelled something back at me from the bathroom, and I was like, that's it. I am going to lose my freaking top.
Looking for something to throw.
Seriously, I was like, I've got to do something, or I'm going to say and do stuff that I'm going to regret. And so I went in, and I have this really big minky blanket that's weighted, and it's like my therapy blanket. I love it. So I grab it, I wrap it around, I go and sit on the couch, I turn the lights off, and I'm just like shaking. I'm so mad, and I'm like, this is so over the top. Why am I so triggered? And I was like, it's Tyrell. And I'm like so pissed at him in my head. I'm just like coming up with all this crap. And I remembered the steps from the book. And it's like, well, number 1, say it out loud. I'm triggered. I am having a flashback. And so I did. I said it out loud. I'm like, okay, I'm triggered. I'm having a flashback. Take big breaths, breathe. And then he's like, and if you feel like crying, cry. He's like, crying is one of the biggest ways to relieve the anger. It's like it puts it in, I don't know, it's a healthy way of releasing it, I should say. And so I just started crying, like shaking, and I was like, oh my gosh. And after I had kind of gone through that process of allowing myself to feel it and not shaming myself, saying, oh my gosh, stop it. You shouldn't, like, numb it. Let's get on Facebook and let's get on, something and just numb this out and stuff it. Instead, I was like, I'm going to allow myself to feel this. I'm curious why the heck I'm freaking out so much. And so I, after I went through that, it like all clicked to me, like the experience that reminded me of what my husband had said that triggered me. Like it all came flooding in, and I was like, it wasn't even him. It was something that happened, years ago that I haven't dealt with. It was my crap, and I was taking it out on him. So after I had kind of realized that, and then I started crying because I was like, oh, I feel so bad. So I went in there and I sat by him and I just gave him a big hug, and I'm like, I totally just let all that out on you. It wasn't your fault. And he just gave me a hug back, and he's like, it's okay. I'm glad you worked it out. But it was cool in that process. Instead of it, in the past, it would have ended up being this big fight. It would have been like walls, defenses coming up, and just this constant. And then we wouldn't talk to each other for a while, and then we'd come back and fight again. It's just that vicious cycle. And it's cool that we've learned, and we are still learning.
Yeah.
Recovery is a continual process. It's not just an overnight thing.
Oh no! Even if you're 10 years into it, it's still a process.
Yeah, and we've spent so much money, so much time in recovery programs. I mean, like I said, it's been 6 years, and we were religious in it. We gave it everything we have, literally, and we still, to this day, we still have a lot to work on, But it's cool, and it makes us stronger. Our relationship is so much closer that we can get to the point where I can go through that and come back, and he's like, I love you anyway, thanks for doing that, no hard feelings. Like, how cool is that?
That is really cool.
Like, we went from, I would kick him out of the house, or we would freak out at each other, to, after me processing for 20 minutes, and then we can come back and do that. And I really think that is power of self-care, the power of self-forgiveness, the power of compassion, and then you can show it to other people.
Yeah. You said something when you were telling your story about your trigger and your frustrations and the crying and that, and you said that you realized it was okay that you did that. And I don't think we give ourselves that credit to do that, because that guilt comes in. It's okay to be angry. It's okay to cry. It's okay to be frustrated, irritated. It's all part of our emotions. We got to allow that to come out and not beat ourselves up over it. You know, now back in my days, I did it completely wrong. You know, when my anger came through, I was putting my fist through walls or kicking stuff or throwing stuff or trying to pick a fight with somebody. That's how I was letting it out. To where now what I've learned too is and sometimes it'll take me a couple days, but it's okay to allow myself that time, you know, and to be able to let the person that you're with, your partner, or even if you're not with somebody, just to give yourself that okay, saying, I'll get through this. Because, yeah, Janessa even asked me yesterday, she's like, are we okay? And I really didn't answer. And, of course, it upset her because I didn't answer, because I still don't even, not saying that there's something wrong with this, but there's still something I'm working through. And
like, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know, because I'm still working through some emotions with some things that's gone on. And
well, and what you and your wife went through is really traumatic.
Well, you and your husband went through some traumatic stuff too, you know, but...
Well, I'm just saying, just this week.
Oh, just this week, yeah.
Like, you guys have been through a lot of traumatic things, but just this week, what a disappointment. What a letdown. Like, of course you're going to have a lot of feelings and things that are going to come up, and allowing yourself to feel that. Yeah. Because if you stuff it, it never goes well.
It doesn't. It's like stuffing a turkey, right? It's raw when it goes in, but it's well done when it comes out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Gosh, we've got to end this show here like really soon, because we've got another one coming on right after this one. But I think this conversation, I love these conversations, and we really want to get into more of this. You know, Brad and I have been talking about having more conversations, because it takes the experiences that you've had, Janessa, experiences I've had, experiences that other people who have been on the show, hoping that what we share is going to help people out in the audience, or, you know, our listeners, to maybe something will click with them and go, oh my gosh, like you're saying, writing your stuff down. You know, somebody that can hear that go, gosh, maybe I should start writing stuff down. And it's almost like doing that list of pros and cons. You know, I've known people that have had relationships to where they're like, I don't know if I want to stay with this person, blah, blah, and what do you suggest? And it's like, I don't know, I'd do the pros and cons. Somebody did that with me once. And if there's more cons than there is pros, then yeah, maybe it's not the right relationship for you. But also,
choose your heart.
Yeah, choose your heart. Are you willing to go through it? You know, how is it that you really feel about this person? Yeah, choose your heart. We were talking about that a couple weeks ago. Yeah. Choose your heart. And so many of us, again, I think society has programmed us that I'd rather just do things the easy way, you know.
Yeah. Drop it.
And just drop it and not worry about it. You know. I had somebody tell me once about when I was first thinking about doing a journal, about writing things in the morning, writing things in the evening. And I'm like, you know, I don't have time for that. Well, what do you mean you don't have time? What's your mornings like? Oh, I get up and I have my cup of coffee and I'll go to the gym, or I'll do this and I'll do that. And it's like, so what, you can't get up 5 minutes early? 10 minutes early? I was just coming up with an excuse why I didn't want to do it, because it was too hard. Yeah. Anyway, I thought it was that way. Now, for years, I've been doing it. Changing my whole morning routine where I get up earlier, and now I'm working on getting up a little bit earlier so I can get at least 5 to 10 minutes of meditation in. And so far I haven't been very successful at it, but I'm still working on it.
That's really cool.
But yeah, it's just a way of bettering myself. It's again, the self-care. It's what I feel like I need to do for my self-care, because if I'm feeling good about doing this stuff, I think that's one of the reasons why the gym is so important to me, you know,
Yeah.
because if I get up and I go to the gym every day, my day is just so much better because I feel like, man, I really did something for me today.
Mm-hmm.
You know, even if I was only there 10 minutes, I'm usually there an hour and a half to 2 hours, but it's like, man, I just feel good.
Yeah.
You know,
It's really
took
healthy.
care of me. And it is really healthy, right? Yeah. Yeah. Janessa, is there anything you want to add on before we sign off?
No, I think we covered it all. I guess I like how this is ending, and that, you know, the way you treat yourself really is the way you treat others, and you really have to believe it, or
Yeah.
you're not gonna. I don't know, you're gonna be miserable. It's just that vicious cycle that keeps going if you don't be aware of how you're treating yourself.
Yeah. And when you do start treating yourself better, you'll be surprised how much life changes.
Oh,
right?
yeah. And you're consistent at it. It's not
Yeah.
just a once a week, it's daily. You have to make it a daily thing.
Yeah, I agree. Well, Janessa, thank you again for taking time out of your day to spend it with all of us here.
Thank
in the
you.
studio. Yeah.
I really enjoy this.
Yeah, I know you do. I know you do. And it's nice. I mean, it's really good when we have, I mean, every co-host that we've had on the show really enjoys doing this. And, you know, I saw a post that you just put on Facebook just a couple days ago or a day ago, and it really made me feel good knowing that when you come in the studio, you know, this is just something that's you can't wait for, you know.
It's my passion.
Yeah. Well, hopefully as time goes, you know, and you're going to have a little one here down the road, but yeah, hopefully we can get a time when you'll be able to spend more time in here. But hey, man, I'll take every other week.
Yeah. No, I would have been in here every week, but my husband's like, what? Let's try every other week for now. You know?
Well,
he's very supportive.
And
but
we appreciate him at
Yeah.
least working with us on that, or working with you on that. But yeah. Again, everybody, this episode is brought to you by Matter Behavioral. They're our platinum sponsor. Again, they're located at 265 State Street in Mount Pleasant, 435-462-2781. And eventually I will memorize that so I can continue to look at the camera. Hey, everybody. Have a wonderful day, and we're going to end this show just like we do with all the other shows. Even this wasn't a lot about addiction, but remember, addiction is giving up everything for one thing, and recovery is giving up one thing for everything.
Good morning, this is Leticia with Computer Hospital. We are your computer repair experts for both PC and Mac. We are your community resource for all of your computer repair needs. What makes us different is that we want to fix your computer. We also do free diagnostics. We charge a flat rate labor, which means that you won't pay by the hour. All of our computer repair is done in-house with a fast turnaround time, and same-day service is also available. Feel free to stop by anytime without an appointment. We're located in Sandy at 8721 South State Street. Again, that's 8721 South State Street, or call us at 801-987-3993. Again, that's 801-987-3993. This is Leticia with Computer Hospital, and we look forward to seeing you soon.
Hello there, this is Brad Neufeld with the Resilience Talk Network, and I would like to introduce to you Taffy Town, one of our newest sponsors. Let me introduce you to Derek.
Hi, I'm Derek from Taffy Town. We're proud sponsors of the Other Side of Addiction podcast. Taffy Town is a family-owned and operated business still operating in the Salt Lake City area for over 100 years. We manufacture some of America's best saltwater taffy.
What makes Taffy Town stand out from all of the others?
We have a unique recipe, a whipped style recipe that incorporates egg whites, evaporated milk, real sea salt. It's a unique product that is flavorful, melts in your mouth. And the best part is we probably have a flavor for anyone's liking, a flavor for any reason, for any season. We have unique flavors like chicken and waffles, maple bacon, frosted cupcake. New this year was a pineapple ghost pepper flavor.
That's awesome. Where can people find out more about Taffy Town and all of its products?
You can check all of this stuff out. All of our products are available for sale on taffytown.com. We ship for free from our website, so all of our pricing on there is shipping included. Oftentimes we offer special promotions and discounts to our loyal customers, so do be sure to sign up for an account, and we look forward to seeing what we can do to make you smile with our taffy.
Where are you located?
We are currently located at 9813 South Prosperity Road in West Jordan, Utah, just at the foothills of the Copper Canyon Mine.
Derek, taffy has always been a great gift to give. What are some of the creative ways Taffy Town can help say thank you to others?
Yeah, if you're looking for gift ideas, whether to say thank you to friends or family, or maybe to your clients after such a difficult or successful year that you've had, you could look no further than to get a gift idea from taffytown.com. We offer prepackaged gift boxes that say that it's saltwater taffy from the city of the Great Salt Lake, and it tells a little bit about the history of our community and making candy for so long. You can also do customized gifts to pick out just the right flavors or colors of candy for that special someone, and deliver even a personalized message in that box to them. So please feel free to check out taffytown.com for any gift ideas this season.
Thank you so much, Derek. Please visit taffytown.com, that's taffytown.com, to find out more about the products and services that Taffy Town offers. You won't be disappointed.
Do you know someone who's gambling with death due to an addiction? Do you know someone whose life is being turned upside down due to a loved one that's battling with addiction? Hi, I'm Al Richards. I am the host of the Other Side of Addiction podcast. I started the podcast due to my wife's battle with alcohol. Let's just say I became addicted to her addiction. Our podcast is helping people understand a little more about those who have battled addiction and those who are hurting from their addiction. Through raw vulnerability, we share stories that help uncover the root causes of addiction. Shame felt on both sides, matter of the conscious and subconscious mind, continued beliefs, and often confusing paths of recovery. We collaborate with real people and their stories, as well as licensed professionals, to help our audience gain a better understanding of addiction. You can find us on Resilience Talk Network. You can also find us on Facebook at Mr. Al Richards. That's Facebook at Mr. Al Richards. You can also find us on YouTube. Just look up the Other Side of Addiction podcast.